All right. Hello, my name is Finn,
Hi, my name is Brady.
and today we are talking about.
Marvel.
Heck yeah. And as always, here we are. Thank you for being here, Brady.
Of course, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I do want to get into the main topic, fairly quickly here. But first, maybe we can just start with a little background. So, where are you from? What are you doing at Western? What are you studying?
Yeah. So, um, I am originally from Seattle, the Emerald City, the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
um, and I came to Western. Both my parents actually met here at Western.
Oh,
So,
really? I didn't know that.
yeah, so it's kind of poetic, but my I initially my initial dream was to go to UW for the
Mm-hmm.
computer science program. It's one of the most competitive in the country, so didn't get in.
Yeah.
But Western, like it being Bellingham, I thought it would be a great opportunity to be, have experience like away from home, but still
Mm-hmm.
not too far away.
Right.
Like Bellingham is only 2 hours from Seattle, but it's also a chance for me to not like be right next to home.
Right.
And so in Bellingham is extremely beautiful. I've enjoyed it since I've moved here, and I think I've like found a really good community here.
Yeah. No, I also, I mean, I'm from Bellingham. Bellingham is a very pretty place. And I definitely get that, like, oh, I want to, have that experience of not living at home, having that going away to college experience. But you're right, Seattle's very easy to get to. It's 2 hours, sometimes less, depending on traffic.
Yeah.
If you get really lucky. Um,
Yes.
but like, but yeah, I am from Bellingham, so I'm still living at home. My parents are lovely, and I enjoy living at home. But I definitely plan to go somewhere else for grad school to get that,
Hmm.
like you said, that experience
Yeah.
of going away. But that's cool. So what did your parents study? How did they meet?
Yeah. So my mom was a psychology or studying psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad was a I think he was a history major,
Mm-hmm.
and so they met during my mom's sophomore year at Western, and uh, then then they got married and had me not too long after.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's cool. I've had several family members go to Western, but um, and actually my cousin and her husband, they just got married last July, and they met when they were students at Western.
Oh.
So a couple of similar experiences, but we met 2.5 years ago actually
We
in
did.
Model UN,
We did.
which is feels like such a long time ago
Yeah.
now.
I still remember the first time we met.
Yeah, was it just at New York or not New York? Seattle or
Yeah, I feel like when it came to my first quarter in Mall UN, I I'm gonna be totally honest. I didn't attend. I only attended a couple of the meetings. I was
sure.
still like getting used to everything in college,
Right,
and
right.
um
That was your first quarter of college.
yeah, first
Yeah,
quarter of
yeah.
college. And so I only attended a few of the meetings, and so I didn't really really get to know everyone
Sure,
before the first
sure.
conference. But I remember like during that first conference, like really getting to know you was actually when we were having dinner at the Yard House in
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, and I got to like sit down and talk with you,
Yeah.
and and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, that was a good table.
Yeah, it was.
There was a lot of cool people at that table.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool evening in Seattle. I think this is something that I maybe talked about in my episode about Model UN with Paige and Olivia, but you know, I think you could probably find this in other clubs as well. But it it's really not until that first conference that you make those connections, that you have this shared experience where I came out of that with a lot of new friends, a lot of great new friends
Yeah.
that have, so which have continued to today. So that was really neat.
Yeah.
Um, but it was also during that first quarter at Western that you got your object that you have here. Do you want to
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what you have
Yes,
and how that
absolutely.
connects to our main topic?
Absolutely. So, right,
Oh,
oh,
oh
it's
no.
made out of Lego, so but yeah, this is a Iron Iron Man mech made out of Lego. I got um my mom got it for me on my when she was moving me up to Western as kind of like a little because obviously Iron Man is actually my favorite Marvel character,
Mm-hmm.
and that actually leads into our main topic. But it's a really good symbol um, symbol of like kind of like my first time coming to Western,
Sure.
and my mom handed this to me um, as she was crying, as she was hugging me,
Aw.
that her son was going to college,
Aw.
and so it's a very special thing for me.
Nice little going away present.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, and also I just love having this on my desk
Yeah.
because Iron Man is so cool.
Yeah. What? So, talking about Marvel, I know that you're a Marvel super fan. I also am a Marvel guy.
Mhm.
But why is Iron Man your favorite?
Um, I think Iron Man is my favorite because while I read some of the comics, it was really my introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Sure.
that really got me into Marvel to start with.
Mhm.
And I've actually seen, um, at least for the Infinity Saga, so the first three phases, I saw every single film from the first Iron Man 2008 to Avengers Endgame, every single one in theaters. Since
Wow.
I was 5 years old when I saw Iron Man 1, and
Wow.
so I think that just that introduction to like Iron Man kind of being like the start of
Sure.
it all, and it really like it was extremely cool like just seeing his character arcs throughout the years and just
Mhm.
kind of his story.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I would say that's pretty much why Iron Man is my favorite. Kind of see him going from like self egotistical billionaire
Yeah.
to like a self-sacrificing like hero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Caring about other people, thinking about things bigger than himself versus of course in that first movie,
he was.
he's
Yeah,
he is kind of a sleazeball. He's cracking pretty inappropriate jokes about the weapons that he's selling
yeah.
and stuff and is a very self-centered person. But yeah, you really do, I think, in an interesting way see that progression
Mhm.
throughout the films. Especially I feel like and I'd love to get your input on this, but he grows a lot in that first movie, but he doesn't grow all the way, overnight. It really seems like through the movies he becomes less and less egotistical, even though already in that first movie he says we're not selling weapons anymore, like I'm
Mhm.
going to be a lot more conscious. He has a lot of growth in that movie alone, but throughout the whole saga, right?
Yeah.
He you really see that okay, I need to it's not all about me.
Yeah.
It's not all about my great ideas. I need to focus on how I can work as part of a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely think that like all of the people all the other members of the Avengers in some way
Mhm.
helped him kind of with that, especially like Captain America.
Mhm.
Also I think that like even later on um like Peter Parker,
Right.
Spider-Man definitely like kind of was like a son figure to him.
Mhm.
Um and and then obviously his relationship with Pepper. I just think there's like all these things that really like kind of like allowed him to kind of grow as a person.
Mhm.
And it was very beautiful to see like over like all of the movies and just kind of like it was so when Endgame came it was like felt so like emotional and
And
rewarding.
earned, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that you see through the movies him value life more
Yes.
in the sense as just a minute ago said, he's very callous about the weapons that
Mhm.
he's using or selling, um, and they're obviously taking life, and then they're being used by like the Ten Rings and other folks to take life,
Mhm.
and he through his relationship with like Yinsen, through his his meaningful romantic relationship with Pepper, just obviously he has
He had like
un I would say unhealthy
yeah,
probably flings with folks, with other
but it was
ladies.
like actually like
Yeah, but he
yeah.
was invested in her and in her life, and then of course Peter, as you said, a son figure, invested in him and his life,
Yeah.
and so I think that like relationship with life broadly is a
Mhm.
good example of how that growth happened.
Yeah. And I think like to bring it to back to like Jensen specifically, like
Sure.
you really think about like kind of like the beginning of the first Iron Man movie when he's like trying to like after he builds the Mark One suit and he's is trying to escape the cave. Like Jensen, it was Jensen's words like, "Don't waste it, don't waste your life."
Yeah.
Like it really like I think really set um Tony on the path to becoming a hero, and at the end, he did not waste his life.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I when so like in the game I like looked back to that moment and I'm just like it just really paid off.
Yeah. He he didn't waste his life. He spent his life well,
Mm.
and by that I mean one he spent his life after that turning point, spent his life doing things that were meaningful and progressively becoming trying to be more meaningful,
Mm.
and then he spent his life as in he gave his life in a meaningful way. Obviously at the end of Endgame.
Yes.
So I relate to that. But so all right, so I am more of a Hulk guy because
Mhm.
I really grew up. Um, I grew up reading Incredible Hulk
Oh.
comics from like the 1970s because my dad's friend collected comics. A lot of them were comics he got in the 70s and 80s.
Mhm.
But when I was like 4 or 5, he would come over um, every Friday night to hang out with my parents, and he would give me like a new comic every week.
Oh.
And this is when I was like 4 and 5, so like my dad would like read them with me, and it was very like cool experience, and I really came to enjoy the Hulk and that dichotomy between Bruce Banner and Hulk, and I think the whatever the 2003 and the 2008 Hulk movies are all right. I really like Hulk and Ragnarok. I think he's pretty funny, pretty authentic there. Um,
What about like the first Avengers and like Age of Ultron?
he's also good there. Yeah,
Mm.
I think he definitely Bruce Banner is a great character in the first Avengers movie,
Mm.
which is a movie that I actually want to rewatch because it's so fun.
Mhm.
The first Avengers movie is it's just a it's just a very very funny movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can I add something here?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think like too like specifically was like I mean all the Avengers kind of were like kind of bickering with each other and kind of like like at odds with each other so much in the first Avengers movie,
Hmm.
and then like in the following movies where they all like are teaming up, you see them like really kind of grow together and like really come to
Yeah,
respect each other. But specifically like I think the thing with Bruce Banner is you see in the first Avengers movie he's like wrestling. He like really like doesn't like the other side of, and you kind of see that like Bruce Banner and the Hulk like they don't necessarily like agree with each other.
no, yeah.
He doesn't want to like turn into the Hulk,
Hmm.
things like that. And so like obviously you see that in like Ragnarok, which is like I don't want to. And then Infinity War happens, and then Thanos is like beats the Hulk
Yeah,
into
a pulp. Like
yeah
yeah, he defeats him.
yeah. And then so it was like really cool to then like see in like Endgame. Um, although my only wish is that it there was a little more explanation onto it, cause I know
The
they
the Professor Hulk
yeah,
thing.
cause I feel
Yeah.
like they kind of just like throw it, and it's just like, I mean, okay, like it's something in the comics, but you didn't like the fact that like you didn't show anything of
Yeah.
how it just kind of makes it like kind of come out of left field. But I still like that arc in Endgame because it just, like really shows like the two sides like accepting each other.
Yeah, yeah. I think that that's an interesting concept. I agree with you though that it doesn't quite feel earned just because we don't really see that process.
Yeah.
And I hope that we do see that process or that goes into detail more later on. I know that in the end credits scene of Shang-Chi and the
Mhm.
Legend of the Ten Rings, he appears, but not in Hulk form. He appears as just Bruce Banner. So I hope, in the service of finding like a more complete conclusion or explanation of that, that maybe the Hulk is in there still, and there is that like kind of push and pull.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they'll do with that. But one thing about the Hulk comics that I used to read that really made watching Marvel movies so fun is that Doctor Strange shows up a lot in those Hulk comics, and he's one of the few. Like in that era, the Hulk is not really on good terms with a lot of superheroes,
Um.
just because he goes off on his own and he'll like destroy half of a city, and like other
Sounds like
superheroes are
him.
trying to like stop him. Like, hey Hulk,
Hey,
you're
stop.
ruining the highway right now. Like, please let's have a conversation.
Oh my gosh.
But Doctor Strange is one of the few heroes that like has a relationship with the Hulk
Mhm.
and like talks to the Hulk, and the Hulk trusts him. So he shows up a lot in the comics. So that then it was really cool to see Doctor Strange, who is not like not well known,
Mhm.
but is less was less well known than like Captain America and Iron Man.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see him appear in the movie in 2016. Um, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see them bring more obscure characters.
Yeah, and I think that's like a really cool thing that the MCU did is like obviously you starting off in phase one was like the biggest main line like the like to build like the
Right.
original Avengers team like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, um, but then seeing like starting starting in like phase two you start to like see like like the introduction of the Guardians of the Galaxy and
Mm-hmm.
um
Ant
like
Man.
Ant-Man and like Vision. And then phase three is like really where you like Spider-Man, Black Panther,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, like Captain Marvel, like all of these characters and just seeing like how they eventually all like interact with each
Yeah.
other.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
What do you? So I am not super caught up on the Marvel movies, actually. I
Mhm.
think the last Marvel movie that I saw in the theater was Doctor Strange
In
in the
multiverse.
Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. I thought it was good. Um, and I saw She-Hulk,
Mhm.
but I haven't seen any of the kind of new. Uh, you're more caught up.
Mhm.
How has the last year or two been for Marvel? Because I've heard, as an example, the Marvels, which I saw trailers for. I thought it looked good. I'm sure if I watched it, I would probably enjoy it. But it didn't do very well in the box office,
Mhm.
and I also didn't hear very good things about Ant Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. So what's your take on how Marvel is doing right now?
Yeah, so um I think I think that um an issue that I've been seeing with Marvel recently, and it's I've also been seeing it with Star Wars too.
Mhm.
So and they're both Disney managed.
Mhm.
So I think it's just um I think it's an issue of them trying to like produce like kind of more like quantity over quality things. Like
Sure.
they're trying to like push revenue. They're trying to like get as many projects out as possible, but the issue with that is that there isn't like before like Endgame, like there was like more. there weren't like so many like consistent releases
There's a lot
happening.
more like intentionality.
Yeah, there was a lot
Yeah.
more intentionality, a lot more like quality control,
Hmm.
and I just feel like because of like all of the products going on, it's definitely like hurt the quality a bit. I'm a Marvel fan. I'll still watch the movies and I find them fun and enjoyable.
Hmm.
But I seen like movies like Thor: Love and Thunder, Ant-Man: Quantumania. I feel like they've been like there's also like a thing where they are like kind of also with like the comedic side of it, which
Hmm.
has always been a big part of Marvel. But I think it's always even like Ragnarok, like they kind of balanced it with like seriousness
Serious themes and
and
character play. Yeah.
but with some comedy, and I think Marvel movies have been good at doing that. However, I feel like some recent ones have like kind of turned it up to like 100,
The
like
comedy.
the comedy,
Yeah.
and at times like it's just like I would say like sometimes it just feels like out of place, like
Sure.
it's just like trying too hard.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously comedy is fun and all, but I also like want to see superhero movies for like serious
Yeah.
moments. And so like kind of seeing like a little too much of that is kind of I haven't been enjoying the recent films as much as the like I did for like everything Endgame and before.
Hmm.
Um, Now there are like some examples of movies since Endgame that have I have like really enjoyed, have a lot of like serious themes, and I think have been very good in quality. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten
Yeah,
Rings.
I thought that was good too.
I thought that was a very fantastic movie. Probably some of the best fight choreography in any Marvel movie.
Absolutely. That
Um,
bus scene is pretty awesome.
yes, and
Yeah.
also also Wenwu, the Mandarin,
Hmm.
uh, he was just a phenomenal
Great
villain.
villain and a very emotional villain
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
and I think like the connection to the main character too, just it just made it. It definitely was so much better than the Mandarin of Iron Man 3.
Right, right. Yeah, that was a little silly.
Yeah, that was just like okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was extremely good. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so
Oh, No Way Home.
No Way Home.
A lot of fun.
I love Tom Holland Spider-Man. I loved him in Homecoming and Far From Home. But it was like really like, and I really liked the the way that the MCU has kind of done Spider-Man, like kind of showing him like being a kind of like a kid that um Iron Man is like, kind of helping to mentor him and
Mhm.
guide him. I know some people were upset like Spider-Man should be doing everything on his own. Why is
Mhm.
Iron Man like giving him like all this stuff? But I think it really like worked the way they did it because you really see him like start to grow throughout
Mhm.
the Home trilogy,
Yeah.
and then like Far From Home, he's dealing with not having Tony around anymore
Yeah.
and kind of growing into himself. And No Way Home really just sees a drastic like change in everything, especially
Mhm.
with the ending. Like no one now knows who like the identity of Peter Parker,
Yeah.
and so he's gonna have to like now focus on his Spider-Man
Yeah.
persona and he's kind of grown to like his own superhero like hero now.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how that moves forward.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because I don't love I don't mind the Tony Peter relationship at all. I think that was interesting
Hmm.
and it served a very clear purpose. I didn't love like Spider-Man having a super high-tech suit. I was fine with it for
Hmm.
Infinity War and Endgame. Just he's fighting Thanos. Like
Yeah.
he has to be a little bit souped up for that. But I mean, at the end of No Way Home, he has like a suit he cut out of cloth.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have the high-tech suit anymore.
Yeah, and I think that definitely was like really cool to see. Like now he's kind of like using his own stuff, not using like
Yeah.
someone else's tech. And yeah, I agree. For like fighting Thanos, you need like even Iron Man had like the more
Yeah.
like Iron Man wouldn't have been able to fight Thanos in his like Mark 6 suit.
Yeah, that I mean, yeah, that bucket of bolts, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of like kind of going into like kind of more like phase 3 things,
Hmm.
um what was kind of your thoughts about like Infinity War and Endgame?
I really liked both of them. Infinity War, I probably liked Infinity War a little bit more than Endgame,
Mhm.
just because I think it was more effective at what it was trying to do. I think my only criticisms for Endgame would just be it does really feel long. I mean,
Mm.
it's a very long movie, and it feels long. I don't know how they could have made it shorter because of everything that they have to have happen.
Yeah.
Um, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a great spectacle. It's a great yeah, conclusion of all these character dynamics and some great moments. You know, Captain America with the hammer, all the time travel stuff, obviously the big portal scene and fight at the end. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Infinity War I thought was very emotional. I really liked the character of Thanos being built up. You know, um, it was good stuff. I confess I'm a really big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. So if I had to choose my top two Marvel movies from that whole pre-Infinity War era, it would probably be the first Guardians movie and Winter Soldier.
Oh.
Because Winter Soldier is a super awesome movie,
Yeah.
as we both agree. But
Yeah. Oh.
um, go ahead. Sorry,
Oh. I was gonna say, speaking of like Captain America, that's another character that I think like
Gru.
grew so much,
Yeah.
and just like seeing like because there was a very interesting quote in the first Avengers movie where it was just like obviously like Steve's Captain America says to Iron Man, it's like you're not the one you're not to make the sacrifice way to let
Oh yeah,
let
you're
the
not the one to make the sacrifice play. I think is what he
yeah,
says. Yeah,
and I mean at the end he did,
he
and
does. Yeah.
then same with like Tony saying to Steve like um um your laboratory experience, everything special about you came out of a bottle,
Yeah.
but like it was very like rewarding then seeing like Endgame like no, because he was worthy, he was
Yeah.
like it
For
he's
other
more
people, it corrupted them.
yeah, but
It turned the Red Scroll. I mean, the Red Scroll was already evil, but it made him more evil. It corrupted John Walker. It
yeah,
um and yeah,
but Steve was just like morally just
yeah.
like righteous and good, and I think like um and I think that just like and then that's really cool how like that was kind of like how you get that power is not just being born as Thor, but like if you're worthy, if
Yeah.
you're and I think that arc really paid off. I as much as I love Iron Man, don't get me wrong, I love Iron Man.
Hmm.
In Captain America: Civil War, I was actually Team Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
which I know is a big debate.
I think I was Team Iron Man, but I don't remember. I feel like I need to rewatch it and really think
Yeah,
because I can see both sides, which is good. You should be able to really be
yeah.
conflicted in that type
Yeah,
of
because
movie.
I just think like yeah, obviously like Captain America was like right like the Avengers should like be allowed to like go where they
They
think they
need
need
to, yeah.
to, and like being supervised by the United Nations or like any other
Hmm.
like global entity like what like Steve said with agendas
Yeah.
and like agendas change might like conflict with where they think they are needed
Right.
and so I thought like out of all the movies I feel like Civil War had a really like fascinating dilemma
Hmm.
there and kind of like it has some interesting points and oh Baron Zemo
Great. Great
amazing
villain.
yeah
Um, we are actually almost we're almost out of time,
uh-huh
unfortunately. I'm gonna ask you what you're looking forward to, but one thing I'll say I'm looking forward to with Marvel specifically is I'm looking forward to seeing more multiverse stuff.
mm-hmm
I'd love to see No Way Home was great. I'd love to see more X-Men characters show up like from those movies. I know that Deadpool and Wolverine is a movie that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
I love Hugh Jackman as
He's so good.
Wolverine. Happy to see him back. I'm really looking forward to the Fantastic Four movie. I think
Mm.
next year, which is just looks like a really great cast, and I'm a big Fantastic Four fan. But I'd love to hear from you, Brady. What are you looking forward to?
Yes. So I think that what I am most looking forward to in Marvel's future would probably be I'm really excited for Deadpool and Wolverine coming up.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very especially very excited to for Fantastic Four.
Yep.
The the last the last version of Fantastic Four was not that great. I did not enjoy it. Sorry, Miles Teller, but
It
it's
didn't
true.
look that good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited. I mean I love Pedro Pascal, so
Yeah.
I think he'll do good as Mr. Fantastic. Um, and then I am especially looking forward to, however long it takes, Avengers Secret Wars.
Oh, right.
Um, and I know, like, things are up in the air with how like that'll be going, but it is like one of the biggest comic book events, much larger than Infinity War.
Yeah.
Um, and it'll be cool to see, like, especially with like with like the multiverse being the big theme, like
Yeah.
heroes from all these different like universes just coming together, and
That would be really
like
cool.
it it's gonna be a marvel.
Bonanza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be marvelous to see, and
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that day. I will be there midnight showing on night one, just like I was for Endgame.
Nice. Yeah, I hope it's good. I enjoyed Secret Wars is a fun storyline, and yeah, it'd be really cool to see all these different people come together. But
Yeah,
anyway, I think we can leave it there. Brady, thank you so much for coming
thank
on,
you for inviting me, Finn.
and we'll keep our eyes out for the next Marvel production, I suppose. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.